The Air Force just pulled off something extraordinary. While everyone was watching the F-22 Raptor dominate the skies, Boeing was building its replacement in complete secrecy. The F-47 has been in development since 2020, and most Americans had no idea it even existed. This isn't just another fighter jet. It's a sixth-generation aircraft that can command drone armies, penetrate enemy defenses over 1,000 miles deep, and adapt to threats we haven't even seen yet. The first prototype has already been manufactured. China knows about it, Russia knows about it, and now you're about to discover why the F-47 changes everything we thought we knew about air superiority. The story begins back in 2014 when defense planners realized something troubling. The F-22 was the best fighter on Earth, but our adversaries were catching up fast. What happened next was classified for over a decade. The Air Force launched a program so secretive that even the name stayed hidden until just months ago. They called it Next Generation Air Dominance, and the centerpiece of that program just got a name that honors both World War II heroes and the 47th president who greenlit its final phase. The F-47 represents the biggest leap in fighter technology since the Wright Brothers first took flight. But this isn't just about speed or stealth, it's about something far more revolutionary. The aircraft you're about to learn about doesn't just fly missions. It commands entire battle networks, coordinates with artificial intelligence, and operates in ways that would seem impossible just 10 years ago. The Russians tried to build something similar and failed. The Chinese are racing to catch up. Meanwhile, the United States just moved into production. If you're proud of American innovation and military strength, type proud in the comments below. The F-22 Raptor changed warfare when it entered service in 2005. It could fly higher, faster, and stealthier than anything else in the sky. Our pilots could engage enemy aircraft without ever being detected. For nearly 2 decades, the Raptor gave America unchallenged dominance in the air. But technology never stands still, especially when adversaries are watching. By the mid-2010s, intelligence reports started showing concerning developments. China was pouring billions into stealth technology. Their J-20 fighter began appearing at air shows. Russia unveiled the Su-57, claiming it could challenge American air superiority. More worrying were the advanced surface-to-air missile systems spreading across potential conflict zones. The S-400 and S-500 systems from Russia could track and engage aircraft from hundreds of miles away. The Air Force faced a critical question. The F-22 was still the best, but only 187 production models were ever built, far short of the 750 originally planned. Each aircraft cost $140 million just to purchase, not counting maintenance and upgrades. The production line had closed in 2011, making it impossible to build more. Defense planners looked at the threat environment of the 2030s and 2040s. They needed something that could operate in airspace protected by the most advanced air defenses ever created. The F-22 was designed for a different era. The next fighter would need capabilities that didn't even exist yet. The threats America faces today aren't just about other fighters in the sky. Modern warfare involves integrated air defense systems that combine radar, missiles, electronic warfare, and command networks. Enemy nations have spent decades studying the F-22 and F-35, looking for ways to detect and defeat them. Before we dive deeper, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it means a lot to us. In 2014, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency launched the Aerospace Innovation Initiative. DARPA has a reputation for creating technology that seems like science fiction. They developed the Internet, GPS, and stealth technology. When DARPA starts a new aviation program, the results usually change history. The program was building experimental aircraft called X-planes. These weren't meant for combat. They were flying laboratories designed to test revolutionary technologies. Boeing flew its first X-plane demonstrator in 2019. The public never saw it. The media barely reported it. But behind classified doors, that aircraft was proving out concepts that would define sixth-generation air combat. The Air Force called their requirement penetrating counter-air. This aircraft needed to penetrate the most heavily defended airspace on Earth and establish air superiority against the most advanced threats imaginable. It would operate alongside unmanned aircraft, sharing information across a network that would give American forces an unprecedented view of the battlefield. Here's what makes this remarkable. While the program was underway, the Air Force kept flying and upgrading the F-22. They never announced they were building a replacement. There were no public competitions between defense contractors, no media tours of assembly lines, no politicians cutting ribbons at factory openings. The entire program stayed in the shadows. Boeing and Lockheed Martin both submitted designs. Both companies built demonstrators. Both flew test aircraft that pushed the boundaries of what was possible. The experimental aircraft tested technologies that sound like science fiction, advanced stealth materials, new engine designs, sensors that can track threats across hundreds of miles, and the ability to coordinate with unmanned aircraft using artificial intelligence. These X-plane demonstrators accumulated hundreds of flight hours, testing systems in actual flight conditions. Test pilots pushed them to their limits. Engineers learned lessons that would be incorporated into the final design, and the Air Force gained confidence that sixth-generation capabilities weren't just theoretical, they were achievable. Then in May 2024, something unexpected happened. The program hit pause. Costs were soaring. Each aircraft was projected to cost $300 million or more. For months, the future of America's next fighter hung in the balance. This pause worried many defense experts. But behind closed doors, Air Force leadership was conducting a thorough review. They examined alternatives. Could upgraded F-22s meet future needs? Could more F-35s fill the gap? Could unmanned aircraft replace manned fighters entirely? Every alternative came back to the same conclusion. America needed the next-generation air dominance fighter. March 2025 changed everything. President Trump stood in the Oval Office with an artist rendering of an aircraft that most Americans had never heard of. Boeing had won the contract. The aircraft would be called the F-47, and it wouldn't just replace the F-22 eventually. It would transform how America fights wars in the air. The designation F-47 carries multiple meanings. It honors the P-47 Thunderbolt, a legendary fighter bomber from World War II. The year 1947 marked when the Army Air Forces became the independent United States Air Force, and President Trump is the 47th president. The name connects past glory with future dominance. General David Alvin, the Air Force Chief of Staff, revealed just how far along the program had come. Boeing was already manufacturing the first article. Not planning to manufacture it, not designing it, actually building it, the aircraft that most people just learned existed was already taking shape in a factory. The capabilities described were extraordinary. Significantly longer range than the F-22 or F-35. More advanced stealth that would make the aircraft even harder to detect. Higher availability rates, meaning more jets ready to fly at any given time. And it would take significantly less manpower and infrastructure to deploy. The F-22 requires extensive support equipment, specialized maintenance facilities, and highly trained crews to keep it flying. Moving a squadron of F-22s overseas is a major operation. The F-47 is designed to be easier to operate, which means it can deploy faster and operate from more locations. The stealth technology represents a major advancement over even the F-22. Computer modeling now allows engineers to optimize every surface, every angle, every detail for minimum radar reflection. Manufacturing techniques that didn't exist 30 years ago enable construction methods that enhance stealth while improving durability. The Air Force plans to buy at least 185 F-47s, allowing a one-for-one replacement of the F-22 fleet. But unlike the Raptor, the F-47 isn't being designed as a standalone fighter. It's the quarterback of an entire aerial system. The F-47 won't fly alone. It will command a fleet of artificial intelligence-powered drones that fly alongside it, carrying extra weapons, jamming enemy radar, or sacrificing themselves to protect the manned aircraft. The pilot becomes the battle manager for an entire robot air force. These collaborative combat aircraft aren't remote-controlled drones. They're autonomous aircraft that use artificial intelligence to execute missions based on high-level commands from the F-47 pilot. The pilot tells them what to do, and they figure out how to do it. Imagine a mission over heavily defended enemy territory. The F-47 approaches with 4 drones flying alongside. 2 carry long-range air-to-air missiles. 1 specializes in electronic jamming. The 4th carries air-to-ground weapons. The F-47 sensors detect enemy fighters at extreme range. The pilot assigns targets, and the drones move into position autonomously. The electronic warfare drone begins jamming enemy communications. The ground attack drone engages surface-to-air missile sites. All of this happens simultaneously, coordinated by the F-47 pilot. This capability multiplies American combat power dramatically. 1 F-47 with 4 drones effectively becomes 5 aircraft. The drones can take risks that manned aircraft cannot. They can fly into areas with heavy air defenses, drawing enemy fire while the F-47 stays safely out of range. And if an enemy manages to shoot one down, it's the loss of a machine, not a pilot. The Air Force plans to field approximately 1,000 of these collaborative combat aircraft alongside 200 next-generation air dominance fighters. That means the effective fighter force becomes 1,200 aircraft, even though only 200 have pilots aboard. Understanding what makes the F-47 a sixth-generation fighter requires understanding how fighter generations evolved. First-generation jets were simply jet-powered aircraft with guns. Second-generation fighters added missiles. Third-generation aircraft brought better radar and precision weapons. Fourth-generation jets like the F-15 and F-16 combined advanced avionics with superior maneuverability. The F-22 defined fifth-generation capabilities. Stealth, technology, supercruisability to fly supersonic without afterburners, advanced sensors, and data fusion that combined information from multiple sources into a single display. Sixth generation takes all of that and adds entirely new dimensions. The F-47 is designed with a built-to-adapt philosophy. The airframe might serve for 30 years, but the sensors, weapons, and electronics inside it will be constantly upgraded. This approach recognizes that technology now advances faster than aircraft development cycles. The stealth capabilities go beyond anything on current fighters. Modern computational modeling allows engineers to optimize stealth across a broader range of frequencies. New manufacturing techniques enable shapes and structures that were impossible to build 20 years ago. It will be harder to detect on radar, infrared sensors, or any other detection method adversaries might use. Range is another critical improvement. The F-22 has a combat radius of about 590 miles. The F-47 is designed for more than 1,000 nautical miles, about 1,150 regular miles. That extended range means the aircraft can operate from bases farther from potential conflict zones. In the Pacific, this range advantage is decisive. The F-47's range allows it to operate from bases in Alaska, Hawaii, or even the continental United States, flying missions across the Pacific and returning home. Electronic warfare capabilities allow the F-47 to not just avoid detection, but to actively disrupt enemy systems. The F-47 carries systems that can blind enemy radar, jam communications, and create confusion about where American forces actually are. The Pacific Theater drives much of the F-47's design. China has spent 30 years building up its military, specifically designing weapons to keep American forces away from its coastline. They've deployed hundreds of anti-ship missiles and a network of air defense systems across artificial islands in the South China Sea. The F-47 gives the United States the capability to counter these threats. Its range allows it to operate from bases beyond the reach of Chinese missiles. Its stealth lets it penetrate air defenses, and its ability to coordinate with drones gives each pilot control over multiple aircraft, effectively multiplying American combat power. But the F-47 isn't just about China. It represents a new approach to air combat that will serve the United States for decades. The aircraft becomes a node in a larger battle network. It can share targeting data with ships, coordinate with ground forces, and work with satellites. Unlike the F-22, which was never exported, President Trump has suggested that allies might be able to purchase the F-47. This would strengthen partnerships with countries like Japan, Australia, South Korea, and European nations. Selling advanced fighters to allies ensures their air forces can operate alongside American forces in any future conflict. The aircraft also represents American industrial capability. Boeing's St. Louis facility will see major investment as F-47 production ramps up. That means jobs for skilled workers, engineers, and technicians. And it demonstrates that American manufacturing can still produce technology that no other country can match. The F-47 is expected to make its first flight in 2028. By 2029, the aircraft could be operational. Full deployment into frontline squadrons would happen in the 2030s. That timeline is remarkably fast for a program of this complexity. The F-22 took decades from initial design to operational service. The F-35 faced years of delays and cost overruns. The F-47 benefits from lessons learned on both programs. The experimental X-planes that flew starting in 2019 already proved out many of the technologies. Boeing isn't starting from scratch. General Alvin said that Boeing is moving fast because America needs to move fast. China is developing its own sixth-generation concepts. The J-36, a new Chinese stealth aircraft, recently appeared in photos. The window of American air superiority won't stay open forever unless we continue pushing the technological edge. The F-22 won't disappear when the F-47 arrives. The Raptor is receiving major upgrades to keep it combat effective into the 2040s. The two aircraft will fly together, with the F-47 handling the most challenging missions while the F-22 continues performing other air superiority tasks. What makes this transition different from previous fighter programs is the secrecy and speed. The F-35 was announced with great fanfare. Multiple countries participated in its development. The F-47 stayed hidden until it was already well into development. That's a new approach for American defense programs. The benefits of secrecy are clear. Adversaries couldn't design countermeasures against capabilities they didn't know about. Intelligence services couldn't steal technology they didn't know existed. And public debates about costs didn't slow development. The aircraft represents more than just technological advancement. It symbolizes American resolve to maintain military superiority. Building sixth-generation fighters is expensive, but losing air superiority would be catastrophic. The F-47 ensures that American pilots will continue flying the best aircraft in the world. The F-47 isn't just replacing the F-22 Raptor, it's redefining what air dominance means in the 21st century. From its artificial intelligence wingmen to its revolutionary stealth, this aircraft represents the cutting edge of American military power. The skies above future battlefields will belong to the pilots flying this jet. And while our adversaries are still trying to match the F-22, America has already moved on to the next generation. If you found this information valuable, hit that like button and subscribe for more coverage of America's military capabilities. The future of air combat is here.